Hi everyone, my name is Lexi Everts and I will be talking to you guys about one of my favorite artists, Georgia O'Keeffe. Georgia O'Keeffe is one of the most important American artists in art history. She was born in July of 1887 and she passed away in 1986. O'Keeffe was born and raised in Wisconsin, where she grew to love art. In 1914, she attended Teachers College of Columbia, where she did not enjoy spending her time. Instead, she went on to take classes from Arthur Wesley Dow, which she greatly enjoyed. From him, she learned to experiment with her art. She broke away from her previous form of realism and turned to creating more abstract composition through visual expressions. O'Keeffe is most famous for her paintings of very close-up flowers. The flowers, however, strongly resemble that of female genitalia. O'Keeffe denied that fact until the day she died. She explained that her art is strictly what she sees. In a quote by O'Keeffe, she says, "If I could paint the flower exactly as I see it, no one would see what I see, because I would paint it small, like the flower is small." She also explained, "So I said to myself, I'll paint what I see, what the flower is to me, but I'll paint it big, and they will be surprised into taking time to look at it. I will make even busy New Yorkers take time to see what I see of flowers." O'Keeffe's first art show was without her permission. Stieglitz, an influential art dealer, exhibited 10 of her drawings in his exhibit. This happened because O'Keeffe sent her pictures of her artwork to a friend who then sent it to a coworker, which happened to be Stieglitz. She confronted him during the showing but allowed him to continue showing her work. Stieglitz then began providing financial support for O'Keeffe to be able to focus on her art, and after years of working together, they realized the connection they had. They began an affair, and after a while, Stieglitz and his wife divorced. Him and O'Keeffe were married in 1924. Now that I have let you guys know a little background information on Georgia O'Keeffe, I would like to talk more about her work. When I first found out about O'Keeffe, I researched her work, and I was amazed at the beauty and intensity. I too believe that O'Keeffe's intentions were to show a woman's genitalia in a beautiful and creative way, but also to use as a metaphor. However, because O'Keeffe chose to deny those assumptions, I will talk more about the close-up abstraction of flowers. Specifically, the first work I would like to talk about is the Black Iris. She created this painting in 1926. Black Iris is the most famous of all of O'Keeffe's paintings. This is a very common and familiar image in Western art. O'Keeffe uses a mixture of blacks, grays, whites, pinks, and maroon. This painting in particular can be explained in gynecological terms. Another perception of this image comes from Christian iconography. It is said that the sword-like leaves of the painting are supposed to act as a symbol for Mary's suffering. This is a very different style than Van Gogh's iris. Another work of O'Keeffe's I want to share with you guys is Red Kanna. O'Keeffe created this work in 1924. She continued to use her style of abstract patterns from natural sources. The large flowers were drawn from a close-up stud of natural forms. O'Keeffe chose a restrained brushwork, which was very normal of her when using oils. Her goal was to create peculiarly, I can't even say it, smooth shapes and subtle spatial ambiguities in her graded passages from intense tones to pearly whites. The shapes of the painting swell and taper around the canvas while also bursting with bright and vigilant colors. Red Kanna is also one of O'Keeffe's most well-known paintings. The next painting by Georgia O'Keeffe is her work, Cow's Skull, Red, White, and Blue. O'Keeffe created this in 1931. The painting is considered a quintessential icon of the American West. The colors of reds, whites, and blues make this painting very patriotic. When O'Keeffe created this painting, it was around the time where American artists were very interested in incorporating the American style in their work. She often wanted to focus on images that seemed to be more desolate. She used a weathered cow skull to represent the spirit of America. The fourth painting I'm going to introduce to you guys is Gray Lines with black, blue, and yellow, created in 1923. Most of O'Keeffe's work that was produced in the 1920s and 1930s was said to be hovering on the margins between figuration and abstraction. O'Keeffe's strengths are very prominently shown in this image, with her usage of organic forms and by producing shapes and colors that evoke plant forms, flowers, and shells. The last painting that helped me to fall in love with the work of Georgia O'Keeffe is her painting named Radiator Building, Night, New York. She created this in 1927. This painting is her most famous of the series of landscapes of New York. The image is famously noted for beautifully depicting the artificial light of the city. This is by far my favorite painting of hers because it is her grand statement of New York City. She uses a low point of view and a central placement of the building in order to create a sense of awe. I love the intensity of the light and the way she shows the building being lit from within and without by a variety of electric lights. The beauty and spotlight on this Manhattan building is stunning, just like the rest of her artwork. Now that I have spoke to you guys about O'Keeffe's early painting years and her most well-known years, I will be talking about the end of her life. O'Keeffe moved to New Mexico 3 years after her husband's death. New Mexico was her favorite state, and a lot of her paintings were of New Mexico. O'Keeffe began traveling in the 1950s, and her paintings were largely evoked by the spectacular places she visited. O'Keeffe suffered from macular degeneration and then was discouraged by her failing eyesight. She painted her last unassisted oil painting in 1972. However, she did not give up on her will to create. At the age of 90, she said, "I can see what I want to paint. The thing that makes you want to create is still there." She then later turned to the help of her assistants to enable her to create art again. From there, she went back to her visual motives, where her memory and great imagination helped her to create her art. Georgia O'Keeffe died in Santa Fe on March 6, 1986, at the age of 98. Thank you for watching my video. Have a great summer.